come draw this cute little botanical bonsai tree with me. You can do this with very few materials, and you can totally improvise for anything you don't have. Before we jump into the art, I'll tell you about everything I'm using today. But if you want to jump straight to the art, feel free to, because this video is fully chaptered, so you can watch in any order you like. Today we'll be drawing from this book, Beautiful Bonsai. I got this from my local favorite used bookstore. It has a lot of different types of bonsai trees, and then it has some information about them. So while it's not chock full of photos, there's enough good photos in here to use as photo reference. And then there's also information that I can use later on if I ever want to look something up on Unsplash. I can use that information to find exactly what I'm looking for there. The picture that I picked out to draw today is Stewardia monadelpha. I thought it was a cute little tree to work with, so let's do this one. I'm working on this paper today. It's 70-pound recycled kraft paper. If you don't have a similar pad of paper, just cut up a paper bag. It's pretty much the same thing. The materials I'm using today is an Uni Posca Ivory pen. Is a paint pen. Let me show you the tip. So it's not the super skinny tip. The thicker is going to help out on the craft paper. Just a regular Sharpie. This one is a little bit out of ink, which is nice because it's going to lend a nice sketchy element to the artwork. It doesn't have to be juicy. As long as it makes a line. It kind of acts as like a pencil, but it's stronger on the craft paper. So that's nice. And then I have a little selection of Neocolor 2s. These are by Caran. They're water-soluble pastels, and they're creamy to draw with, but they're solid enough to, hold in your hand and to have force with them. And I have a little selection here. I'm going to just go through it with you real quick. Green yellow. There's a peachy tone, straight yellow, a mint green, just a white, a reddish color, a blue, a mid-tone green, a darker green, and I have a little bit of a spring green looking one here. You don't need to use all these different colors. You can make do with less colors than this. You don't need all of these greens. A lighter one, a darker one, and a mid-tone one, and then you could fill in the gaps with the white. You also could make do with one yellow and the white. You could use a combination of yellow, red, and white for a peachy orangey tone. So you can really have a lot of flexibility with your materials. You don't need as many as I have here. And these are great because they're extremely flexible. You can make a color lighter by putting some white on it. They're blendable, so they're really fun to use. Let's get going. I'm starting out just drawing the bones of the tree with my marker, just trying to get the gesture of the tree down and the framework of the tree. When sketching from a photo reference, I like to try and keep my eyeballs on the reference and not worry too much about what my drawing is looking like right now. See this point I'm at right here? I wish I had more paper on the right side. This is one thing that I can sometimes do that will distract my eyeballs when I'm drawing if I don't have enough paper. I didn't give myself quite enough room on the right side for my little tree. That's the thing that's going to make my eyes move from the picture I'm trying to capture to my own paper. I actually run into this issue a lot when I'm doing lettering. I can misjudge how much paper I need to complete an entire word and to balance out a composition, and that's just something I live with and I manage on a regular basis. The areas where I'm concentrating the pen marks and it appears darker is helping to define some of those shadows and more dense areas in the greenery of the tree. I'm using some gestural strokes for just working out the blocks of greenery, and then for some of the leaves that help define the space, I am drawing the leaves. So that's going to help guide me when I get to do the color part. I'm also trying to add little markers for myself of where I see the sky in between the tree branches and the greenery. So I'll have a visual cue where the blue sky will be in between the tree branches. Totally was not planning on writing the name of this particular bonsai tree on the artwork, but I just went with it. I do it all the time because I just love to do lettering on everything. Honestly, I kind of forgot that I wasn't planning on doing it. That's sort of my default mode. And I encourage you to add lettering to your artwork too, because it just adds a whole nother level of expression. And perfect is honestly boring. Who cares if lettering is not perfect? It's all a part of your artwork and it's your own creative expression, and it's gonna look good because of that. It's gonna match your work and it's gonna be a part of your overall composition. So don't be afraid to try lettering and don't judge yourself harshly. Constructive criticism is perfectly good. Just give yourself compliments. Tell yourself you're doing a good job. Praise your overall growth and give yourself props for trying something different and trying something new. Because a lot of people don't do that because they're afraid. They're afraid that they're going to fail. They're afraid it's not going to be perfect. Seriously, who cares? It's going to be awesome. And, if it needs a little something later, or if you want to, if you count that as practice, great, because you're just going to get better if you just keep doing it. I'm using lighter shades of the Neocolors right now just to block in some of the general color, and then I will be able to pull out some details later. I use the red for the trunk and branches, and you see how the red looks against the kraft paper. It actually looks very much similar color tones as the picture that I'm working from. And now I'm pulling out bits of the blue sky. It's helping me to define the shape of the tree from the outside, but it's also helping me to define the spatial quality inside the branches and throughout the tree. So I'm able to see the light in between the branches, and it's helping me to get a better sense of how the rest of the tree is going to take shape. I'm now working in some more of the red for the tree branches. Isn't it amazing how the red that I'm using looks like the tree color? It's a little brighter, but that's okay. It's art, right? Color theory is so interesting though. It's really fascinating. So I'm starting to use the darker green now. And you see how in the book, in the picture, how the darker green shows where the shadows are. So it's showing the density of the foliage and the spatial quality of it and how the light is hitting at different spots. And that is what I'm trying to emulate here with all the different colors I'm picking up and using after I do the dark green, and then I pull out some of the lights on top of it. I love how making a drawing is just like having a conversation with yourself, asking questions, responding, facing a roadblock, looking at options, and ultimately solving problems. So basically, it's like life therapy, right? So I'm tying together some of the red Neocolor with the kraft paper with some yellow. So just smoothing it out, blending them, just making it a little more cohesive on the whole, and also adding more highlights to the tree so you can see how the lighter colors pop forward and then the green recedes and the blue recedes. And it was really fun to make the ground moss pop with the light and the dark greens. Breaking out the paint pen to start defining the lettering of the name of the bonsai tree. Starting out here, I'm using a thinner Uni Posca than I mentioned in the materials, and then I realized that it's really not doing what I want it to do, so I switched it out for a thicker one, and this one is working just as I need it to work. It's giving me a thicker line and it's working out great. I didn't start doing lettering professionally until I was well into my career as a designer and illustrator, even though I wanted to start for a long time before that. I'll tell you why I didn't. Fear. You know, when you think things have to be done in a certain way, in a certain order, or else it isn't authentic, it's kind of another form of self-sabotage, I think. But because I didn't specifically go to art school for design and for hand lettering, I somehow denied myself exploring that specific art form for a very long time. I know it sounds crazy, and for me, there was more to it than that. I should make another video about it sometime, but these are the kind of things that we inherit in one way or the other and carry around with us. And then if we're lucky, at some point, we face them and then spend the rest of our lives breaking out of it and challenging these self-limiting beliefs. Anyway, that mindset had a stranglehold on me for a really long time, and I did finally break free from it. Yay! And I did become a hand letterer, and I live to tell the tale. So here I am, artist and hand letterer. Yay! Back when I was wrestling with this, it wasn't the same as now. These days, it's more of a matter of who do you want to learn from and what style of lettering do you gravitate towards, because hand lettering learning resources are all around us, so it's really great these days. So now with the Posca, I'm just tying everything together. The details on the leaves, the highlights on the leaves and on the tree. This is kind of the moment where things just start to really pull together, and it's fun to look back on and see, because so much of moving your way through an art piece is trusting in the process and knowing that there's going to be a stage that doesn't make any sense or that doesn't look quite right, but it's fun to see how things come together at the end. And I always think like part of being an artist is moving through those moments and those challenges with curiosity and a strong enthusiasm to solve problems and to work with what is in front of you and to just keep going. Curiosity is the driving force, and moving through those moments where things are not quite right, you just can't focus on that. You have to focus on the next step and what's going to happen in the next few moments and what kind of fun adventure is right around the corner. So now I'm just doing the finishing touches. I'm trying to even out the size of it with the blue sky, and now I'm just pulling out some of the highlights with the white Neocolor, and then I'm gonna do a little bit more of the yellow and a little bit more of the green. I just love tying things together with a pop of yellow at the end. This is something I just have done pretty much forever. I can remember I started doing this in college, and I just do it all the time. I just feel like a warm golden glow just is that extra little special pop right at the end. Cute little bonsai tree all done. I hope you really enjoyed this one. This would look so cute in a little frame, and it's all done. It took half an hour to do. Amazing, right? Let me know if you'd like more videos on craft paper or Neocolor or paint pens. I love all three. I love to mix them, and I love to do videos on them each separately. If you like this video and if you like my content, please like and subscribe. I am really trying to grow my channel. Would love to make it to 10,000 subscribers. I don't even know, can I dream that big? Yes, I can. I hope you have an amazingly creative day. I will see you in the next one. Bye.